I watched a movie. Now, I like really, really terrible movies. I like terrible TV shows, radio, whatever else is just not terrible, like cheesy. And I saw this thing on Tubi. It was called the Hillbilly Horror Show. And I figured, what the hell? I'll just give it a shot because it's right up my alley. It's basically a showcase for short films where the hosts are hillbillies. One doesn't really talk. One, he mumbles, while the narrator, if you want to call him a narrator, introduces all the segments. And one of the segments for Hillbilly Horror Show was the very first one for the episode that I watched, was called Franky and the Ant. Now, Franky and the Ant is a short crime thriller. It's directed by Billy Hayes. It stars Anthony Pavelich, Emmanuel Todorov, and Christine Woods. And essentially, one of the characters, his name is Franky, has been betrayed, and everyone close to him discovers that vengeance is not what he seeks. He wants a lot more than that. And I'm telling you right now that although they used to have a YouTube Facebook page called Franky and the Ant not YouTube, a Facebook page. Yeah. I said YouTube Facebook page, but it's a Facebook page, but it's no longer up. So I don't know what's going on with this, with Billy Hayes, but I would like to see more from him. He's done, he was on, he worked on Nacho Libre. He worked on To the Sea. He worked on Zoom. He was a director for a thing called To the Sea. So he does a lot of shorts. Mm-hmm. Right now he's working on Gender Bender, Choking Hazard, and To the Sea. In between is a TV movie. It's also 7 episodes so far. It started in 2015. And Franky and the Ant, which was in 2012, plus a whole bunch of other things. So, miscellaneous crew, writer, producer, actor, art department, things like that. Yeah. So Billy Hayes created this short called Franky and the Ant. And it's really, really good. So it starts off with these two people and they're having sex in this house. And then she disappears. And the next shot is these two guys talking, kind of like
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with it. Jules and John Travolta's character.
And Vincent, yeah.
And one of them is just complaining about everything. And the other one is not. And the other one's like, hey, you got to, get your stuff together and think positive and all this other thing.
Yeah.
And they drive out into the back 40, into the hills of wherever they filmed this. And it cuts to these two guys digging a hole, and this girl who is, I guess she's in some lingerie or whatever, nightshirt. And she's lying on the ground. She has her head bagged. And then all of a sudden, as they're in the middle of having a conversation, she gets up and starts running. So
Fargo style.
She runs off screen left. She runs off screen right. And then she runs back on. She stops, twirls, runs towards the car, hits the car, and falls down. And they pick her up and then drag her to the grave and take her. And the bag on her head comes off. And they take the gag out of her mouth. Mm-hmm. And she starts talking. She's essentially pleading for her life. And then the bombshell drops. She's cheating on her boyfriend, one of the guys, Franky, with the other guy, the Ant. And as they're having this conversation together, they have their guns out, and Franky walks behind the Ant and shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
Dumps him in the grave. From there, story is basically over. Well, he kills them both, and he drives off.
Yeah, he buries her alive.
So I watched this thing, and I wasn't prepared for the betrayal.
The twist, yeah.
And it was so good that this guy, Billy Hayes, set everything up so well. I mean, you knew it was going to happen. You knew somebody was cheating on somebody, but you just didn't know how it was going to end. Mm-hmm. And the whole idea behind it was cut, filmed, edited. The music, the story was strong. The gags were there. Because you have to have some funny in this whole real depressing thing. Yeah. To keep you interested in watching. On top of that, it wasn't just that. It was how he filmed it, how he framed every shot. And one specific shot in particular, I'll go back to it, is Franky and the Ant are standing in this field and they're digging a grave. and Franky's on the right side and the ant is on the left side. The car is kind of off center, more towards the left, but you can see the car full on. And then she is center for the whole thing while they're having this discussion. And that scene is set up specifically that way because you have Franky talking to the ant. It's more like talking at the ant than anything else, while she's in the middle. And essentially what that is Franky knows what's going on. She's in the middle of both of these two people that she may love. She's
the love triangle.
Yeah, essentially, but it's not just that. She's caught in the middle, literally caught in the middle, because she's tied up. She's got a bag on her head. And then they're having this gentleman's discussion about what's going on. And of course, you have, like I said, you have the car in the background that's just off center, and as a sort of escape. And then she starts running, and they both turn and watch her, not saying anything. Yeah. And then when she hits the car, they resume their conversation. She's still sort of in the middle, but she's aligned on the ant side, not on Franky's side, as is the car, which is aligned on Ant's side. There's something along with, I don't know exactly what that means with the car being on Ant's side, but it has to do with conflict. And I love that scene. And then there's another scene where she's in the house, and she's at least making food, but I can't remember if she's making a sandwich or whatnot. And it's just from the perspective of the camera, and the camera moves in, and boom, she turns and looks at the camera and screams, and it goes dark. But she's also on that left side. It's, everything else is happening on the right side, or there's nothing happening on the right. But the island, I think that's an island that's there in the kitchen. And then her extreme left, which is really weird. So it seems like everybody that is in conflict with Franky is always extreme left, with the exception of the car being what it is. But, the car may belong to the ant. That's why it was on the left. Regardless of that, it seemed like everybody that was in conflict with Franky was extreme left. And even the opening scene where the ant is having an affair with his girlfriend, she's on the right and he's on the left. And that's just the way that the whole thing is framed. And then it cuts away to, moments after, where she's kind of floating through the house. That was a huge house too. Jesus. I don't know whose house they used, but man, when she was walking through it, she had the whatever she was wearing.
Reminds me of like some movies that are set in like a New York apartment, and there's all these different hallways that are long as shit, and it's all inside one apartment. And it looks like you could fit 3 or 4 families in there. Yeah.
Then so I really, really like this short. I stopped watching Hillbilly Horror Show after this short because I was just awed by how good this was. So I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't go through the cast, but essentially, Anthony Pavelich plays the ant. Emmanuel Todorov plays Franky. Christine Woods plays Care Bear. And that's it. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else in this other than those 3. It was produced by Billy Hayes. It was written by Billy Hayes. There is music by Deke Williams. The cinematography by Josh Harrison. Editing by Damian Smith. All of these guys did an amazing job, just on this short film, with the props, the sound, the camera. The cinematography was great.
Yeah. It was Tarantino-esque.
Yeah, I loved it. So
they even did a from the trunk shot.
Yeah, got to do a from the trunk shot. So if you get a chance and you're seeing Hillbilly Horror Show, I don't know if Franky and the Ant is available anywhere else, but I will look up Hillbilly Horror Show for everybody.
I looked it up. I couldn't find it anywhere except for on that show. But I watched the other shorts in that episode as well. There's one called Doppelganger, which is all stop motion with a skeleton, and then the third one is called. Oh no, I'm sorry. The second one's called Amused, and that one's kind of like a weird zombie type version of the Crazies in a way. It was actually well done, creepy. And then the fourth one was one called The Nest. And that one was like a half an hour long. That one was it's set in a small, country town, and this lady who runs a diner has this honey that's like everyone loves this honey. It's something different about it. And come to find out, she's got a well in the back that has the whole inside of the well is packed like a giant beehive, and they throw victims in there, and then the bees make honey out of these victims that they eat up like piranhas. And but the bees are like the size of they're like the size of a laptop, and it's horrible CG. But at times, I'm surprised at how decent the CG was for a short film. I was surprised at times. So it's goofy. It's got like the same vibe as like say Tremors and stuff like that. It's worth a gander. Watch the whole episode if you get a chance.
So, Hillbilly Horror Show Volume 1 is what you're going to be looking for in terms of where Frankie and the Ant is. That also has the doppelganger. It has the animated the nest.
Yeah.
And
Amused.
And Amused. Thank you.
Yeah, that's in the first episode.
It stars Bo Keister, Scott Geider, Rachel Faulkner, directed by Sharif Salama and writer Blue DeGollier. I hope I'm saying those names right. Anyways, Hillbilly Horror Show Volume 1. It is available on Tubi, and I do believe that you can get it from the official site. So it kept my interest. I finished watching that whole episode, so it was good. And then the interstitials, of the hillbillies introducing the next episode. It's not too long. It's like maybe 2 minutes at the most or shorter, and so it doesn't get annoying or anything like that. Just keeps the rhythm going. Yeah. So you can watch Hillbilly Horror Show on Amazon. So there you go.